about what they learned in this term.
Whatever you think of the legislature, the call to public service is no small thing, especially when it comes to getting a chair on the legislative floor. From pumped-up campaigns to points of personal privilege, the ride is interesting to say the least. As we draw closer to the 36th Guam legislature, some members of the 35th took some time to tell us what they'll miss the most about their time as the chosen voices of the people.
Well, there will be a few things that I miss the most. One is having a team to gather with every day, and it meant so much to have a team of people who were like-minded, and we were there to do the good work for the community together, and that really meant a lot to me. So that's one of the things, but also just that ability to directly be there to make a difference.
It has expanded my reach to people. And I think that's one of the things that I'm really gonna miss. Maybe creating policy as well too, that's gonna help people. But it's mostly my interaction with the public and the people. And parking spaces that you get to park close. I don't know, maybe that's it too.
Meeting with so many stakeholders from throughout the region, the United States, people right here on Guam, to fashion solutions to things that are facing the community. That's exciting. That's something you can't typically get. The second thing, and probably the most important thing I'm going to miss personally, is the ability to meet with people as a senator. There's been a tremendous ride, and I'm so privileged. The people of Guam blessed me with a tremendous privilege to participate in that.
I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to have served these last 4 years. I'm really gonna miss working with my very dedicated and hardworking team, both in my office and in our central operations staff at the legislature. There's some really incredible people that I know. I forged lifelong bonds.
Between the pandemic and the hectic session schedule the past few weeks, exiting senators found some time to reflect on what they felt was their greatest contribution.
I was feeling honored to work with my colleagues to be the one who put MAGA Haga into the Guam government lexicon. Things like that, they may seem so small, but they're really important to our next generations.
When I ran and I asked people for their vote, I told them that I was going to be that cancer-centric senator. I've created several initiatives and bills that become law to protect screening, because that really is the most important thing about making yourself healthy.
And I think my material contribution has been in the way of advancing the conversation, strengthening the dialogue between Guam and the CNMI and other regional neighbors. I've been pushing the envelope insofar as the Marianas Working Group for some time now.
Some of the most meaningful work has been the things that were really challenging. The Dave Santis exemption, or the tax incentives for small business, modernizing workers' comp. So that was something that we did, and it was the first increase in over 30 years. So I'm really proud of that. And then also a number of environmental protection. So banning plastic bags, protecting our aquifer, just making sure that we leave our island in better shape than we found it for our kids. I just want to say, Suzuis Ma'asi Guam. Thank you so much.
As we bid these senators and this year farewell, we'll be looking towards the 36th Guam legislature to help get the island back on course and headed for a brighter future. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
All right, thanks, Pete, for that story. Moving on in our rundown, we have all in some way, fashion, or form been affected by the coronavirus pandemic this year. But imagine if nearly your entire family was infected with the virus. Tyler Matanani has this story.
It started in November. One by one, every member of Natalie Kanata's family tested positive.
It started with my dad and his sister. And then it went to my mom, then went to my dad's other sister. My two sons got it. Both my parents had it. My brother and I never tested positive.
It was many sleepless nights for Natalie. Her father had open heart surgery last year, and she had an aneurysm a few years ago, which added to the reason for the family's strict social distancing standards.
So gathering, going out without masks, that's not something my mom allows us to do. Like, lockdown has got nothing on my mom.
High-risk individuals that practice safety precautions like their life depended on it. And in ways, it did. Yet somehow they contracted the virus.
You can never really know where it's coming from. And what are you going to do? You're going to sit there with your family and point fingers and blame each other? You can't really do that. You kind of just got to pull together and get through it.
And they did, but it wasn't an easy journey. Natalie's aunt, a registered nurse, was the first to be hospitalized.
She has an oximeter, so she was, watching everything. She knew her body, and then she decided it was time to go. So she went into the hospital and they admitted her. And the next day she called my parents and she said, "Go now, don't wait."
And though Natalie's father put up a bit of a fight, it's a good thing he went, because only a week after he tested positive, he began developing pneumonia. Her family has since recovered, but their fight isn't over.
He's still really weak. He cooks a little here and there, but he's got to take a break in between. My other aunts, they're still, one is back to work, but she's still struggling. It's tough to get through a day once you have this. So I don't know how long they're going to be like this, and it's heartbreaking.
The future of the island is still unclear, and even though the vaccine has arrived, Natalie encourages everyone to stay vigilant.
If you think you've got a cold, manage those symptoms, go to the hospital.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsanani.
Well, it is now time for our Just for Kids segment, where we show you friends of ours who teach you how to make amazing recipes the entire family can make and certainly enjoy. And here's pint-sized chef Kiki Leon-Guerrero showing you how, in your family, how to make peppermint candy.
Merry Christmas. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make peppermint candies. So here's all our ingredients. We have mint, we have some chocolate, we have 2 types of candy canes, green and brown. You have to find something to smash your candy canes with, and you can use the red and white ones, or I just choose to do these ones. And now you can just find anything. You don't have to use this. Like you can use a cup, but I'm just gonna smash it with this. So next thing we're gonna do is add our chocolate, but we're gonna add oil on it so it makes it more easier for it to melt. And then we're gonna just be taking it out, and we're just gonna keep mixing it and mixing it until it's like chocolate fudge. So I'm just gonna add a little bit. So I just took out from it in the microwave, and now I'm gonna stir it because it's halfly melted, and then pop it in for a couple more seconds, or like a minute. I'm just gonna mix it. So now that my thing's all nice, we're gonna put it into my dish, and make sure you put parchment paper on top of it. Now that it's nice and smooth, we're gonna put the white chocolate now. I already put the white chocolate inside the bowl. Now I put my chocolate inside the bowl. I'm gonna add my oil and then peppermint extract. So now I'm just gonna add all my oil. Now I'm gonna put it inside the microwave for a couple of minutes, like 1 minute and 14 seconds. Now that it's out of the microwave, now I'm gonna mix it just how I did like the chocolate. Now I'm gonna layer my white chocolate on top of my dark chocolate because it just came out of the fridge. So now I'm gonna just sprinkle my candy canes and just sprinkle them on top of my chocolates. Now that we got it out of the fridge, now we're gonna cut it into pieces so we can put it on plates. This looks so good, Now I'm going to taste test it. It's good. Merry Christmas. Thank you for baking with Kiki.
That is just too cool. Thank you so much, Kiki, again, for sharing your talents and your recipes with us. And make sure to try this at home and let us know in comments what you think about that recipe. It looks really, really good. Well, please stay tuned. There is more coming up after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Our service at Guam Behavioral and Wellness Center, which operates our children's division, also known as Ifamaginta, is absolutely critical this time of the year. Social distancing is something that is different and it's new, and it's causing a lot of people to change the way they interact with each other. We should all be taking care of our mental health, and there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Right in the nick of time, the governor lifted some restrictions to help us all have a very Merry Christmas. There were also some other stories on your radar, so let's get to it. I'm Peter Santos, and here's your Trend Spotting Report. We've all been holding our breaths hoping our declining car score would bring good news, and it worked. This week, Governor Lulian Guerrero gave us an early Christmas gift in the form of an executive order. Just in time to celebrate the holidays, the limit on social gatherings of persons not in your immediate family unit was increased to 15. And starting at 8 a.m. Saturday, restaurants can offer dine-in service again, but only at 25% capacity with a max of 6 people per table. Governor's Communication Director Crystal Paco San Agustin says it'll be a slow and steady process as we begin to reopen.
And I want to make sure that we emphasize that, the mitigation measures must remain in place. If you're going to go eat out, you should be signing in at the door. You should be sanitizing and taking your temperature. Again, any mitigation measures we can enforce, we will. That's 6 feet between tables. We're seeing, chairs being covered up with the plastics. We're seeing plexiglass go up. We also need you to, when you speak with your server, please wear your mask. Protect them. And so we ask that when you're not eating, you're wearing your mask, and you're being considerate of the people next to you, most especially your server, who's also just trying to make a living.
Still in the COVID realm, more frontline workers have begun to receive the Pfizer vaccine, including members of the Guam Fire Department. But strangely, another very critical first responding agency didn't make the priority list this week. Guam Police Department Chief Steve Ignacio has been reaching out to public health to help get members of the force vaccinated. Part of a police officer's job is to respond to incidences of crime, and it puts them at risk for the virus. It's no wonder Ignacio is pushing so hard to help protect his officers.
Officers, I think, should be prioritized, that we go out there. We have had positives in our department through exposure to the work that we've done in conjunction with the public health department.
Police officers have had to respond to incidences where a person has passed off the virus, and some have even contracted the virus while on the job. Our Facebook top fan Cheryl Jensen chimed in and said, "Thank you for your service. Hope you get the vaccine soon." And keeping with the police, our men and women in blue were busy this week locating a man who was allegedly involved in a deadly assault. 25-year-old Ronat Renato Chitaro is the main suspect in the December 8th Tamuning stabbing that led to Arthur Wacook's death. Chitaro is no stranger to crime. He was just released from the Department of Corrections 4 months ago after spending 2 years behind bars for robbery and aggravated assault, among other charges. And before that, he was in and out of jail with multiple arrests. Chitaro isn't the only person this week facing charges related to a person's death. 19-year-old Jeremy Janelle Alvarez has been charged with aggravated murder and assault felony charges in the death of 77-year-old Sucha Park Allen. On December 8th, police were called to a Sinahanya home where the woman was found bloodied and beaten with a hammer nearby. Alvarez allegedly struck the woman with a hammer several times after asking her for Xanax. The woman was rushed to the Naval Hospital and later succumbed to her injuries. Now let's pivot to some mischief down south that upset some residents. Perhaps it was the Grinch who chained up our beloved Santa Maria Camelin statue overlooking the waters of Maritzo. On Thursday, KUAM spoke to Village Mayor Ernest Chargaloff, who was frustrated after finding the statue vandalized.
Disrespectful to our faith and our religion. I don't understand.
Wednesday night, the mayor's staff and a community of volunteers gathered to bring joy in the Christmas spirit to the village, decorating the park where the island's patron saint stands. The mayor was disturbed to find the chains wrapped around the statue's hands.
Try to put together a nice display of the park because it represents a sacred place, a holistic place. And for the individual to come here and put a chain, I don't know what kind of message he's trying to convey.
Chargaloff says he'll put up surveillance cameras in the area and that the person who left the chains will be held responsible. The interview was streamed over KUM's Facebook page and viewers chimed in. Gina Marie Call said, "It was a message someone was trying to make. What that is, I'm not sure." Joanne Rapola said, "She is the one that protects our island. People need to grow up. Stop acting so silly. Better start praying because what comes around goes around." And Mary Camacho said, "Disrespectful, whoever did it."
Hopefully that didn't dampen their spirits too much, and I hope that you keep your spirits up too now that we can see more of each other, but we have to still continue to practice all the things that we've done to keep each other safe. So keep that mask up. We'll see you next week. Adios.
We're doing a good job, Guam. In the past couple of weeks, we've managed to keep the CAR score below 5. Together, we rose to the challenge when the governor asked us all to strive for 5.
In the past couple of weeks, we've not only brought the CAR score way down from being in the high 40s to below 5, we've shown the governor that we're capable of altering the course of this pandemic. We were on a path to uncertainty, but now because of all of our actions, we're doing better.
But better doesn't necessarily mean that we are out of the woods. We still need to watch our distance, wash our hands, and wear our masks. So please keep striving, Guam.
We got this.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
What's up, Guam? Welcome to KUAM Sports. Dave Delgado here with Matt Scroll. We're talking about a Guam rugby story. Guam Time and Clutch doing a collab to bring you this 3-part series. First off, tell us about the collaboration with Clutch.
Yeah, first off, thanks for making time for us. This has definitely been one of those things that kind of just turned into an idea, and then it spiraled into something bigger than we even thought. So Dom Sablon and his brother Zay Sablon at Clutch Guam, it's funny because they're more known as basketball players, but they actually reached out to me saying like, hey, what would you think about doing a rugby documentary, like a Guam rugby documentary? And this is something I've always been interested in doing. And I think it was the perfect collaboration between their company, Clutch Guam, and then one of my companies in Guam Time. I believe, I wish Dom was here to join us because this project couldn't have been done without him and his brother. I believe they started recording high school games for Clutch Guam last season, pre-COVID. And according to them, once they started watching high school rugby games, they immediately got hooked. They were fascinated by the culture, the whole ecosystem, and that they could see that there was a community to the sport on and off the field. So when they reached out to me, I was 100% in to make this documentary on Guam rugby.
Yeah, so when they reached out, tell us about the thought process and the vision you had behind trying to put something like this together.
So when we first spoke, I was fortunate enough to get involved in rugby before there was any youth rugby. I was on the first team. We left in 2004 to Australia the year before there was high school rugby. Even at that, when I started, I knew there was easily 10, 15 years before our generation started. So I briefly knew about the history. So we kind of put a storyboard together, and on the first day of interviews, we interviewed 8 people. And after that first day, I'll never forget, Dom and I looked at each other and we're like, this is a lot bigger story than we thought. So from there, we just started interviewing more and more people based off the interviews. And in total, we interviewed over 30 current or former national players, captains, pioneers of the sport, the original union board members that got this sport together. We also interviewed 3 representatives of World Rugby and Asia Rugby. So it's majority pioneers and people who helped build the sport up on Guam or are still playing, but we also want to get input from these representatives who have actually seen our men and women compete in the Asia circuit. Like I said, I think we captured more than we even envisioned, and it's been an amazing story, not only for myself, part of the rugby community to learn, but people like Dom and others who may have not been involved in the community. Overall, it's a remarkable story because the sport essentially started from a community from people all around the world, not from Guam, but knew rugby, got together, and they pretty much put countless time and energy, years into introducing a sport into a community that wasn't theirs. And, without to give too much away in the documentary, when you give a sport that's very much involved in the community and then you introduce it to a culture like, the Chamorro culture, we're already welcoming and we embrace new things, it was the perfect mix. And that's essentially what episode 1 is about humble beginnings and how this even started on.
Well, watching the series and seeing the godfather, so to speak, about Guam rugby, seeing the potential in the athletes, knowing that their drive and their determination to learn the sport and physicality, along with the talent, was something that was really something remarkable for them to think that it would grow into what it is now.
Yeah, 100%. And, I think it's a part of our culture, but, and the players gravitate towards it. But I think the people that don't get enough credit, you could have easily had all the people who planned it, who introduced the sports, the players who loved it. But I think people that don't get enough credit are the parents. The parents that showed up, let's say 10, 15 years ago, even now, even parents who show up to practice or these games and they don't even understand the rules. when you take a step back, you think this sports actually might be dangerous, but they're there with their kids' mouthpiece and their Gatorade. And I think a big kudos has to go to parents, the grandparents, and everyone who has supported the youth, especially in the last 15 years.
Rugby has been on the rise with several athletes getting scholarships to play at the next level. This was a perfect time for these athletes now to see where it started and to see where it's grown.
Yeah, and I think that was our main goal from the get-go. It obviously, I said earlier it grew, but our main goal was this sport has grew more than I think most people envisioned, or maybe they envisioned it getting to this point, but not at this speed. But, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, we have a lot of youth getting Division I collegiate scholarships. We have people playing abroad. We have professional players like Zach Pangilinan, born and raised here on Guam. And what we wanted to do was pay homage to the people who not only introduced the sport here, but continue to help it grow. There was a lot of people playing it at a grassroots level, but there was a lot of volunteers from the union to just, like I said, parents and just other people within clubs that would just show up to the field, not being paid, not looking for a dime, but just helping introduce this beautiful sport to our community.
One of the biggest things that stood out to me most watching it was the fact that so many different cultures, when they come on island for work or deployment, they look for games of rugby, and the community is always willing to come together, whether they be from different teams, just to form a team or two to play these friendly matches.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I want to say it was in 2014 or 15, but there was a military ship that came on island, and we played them on base. It was members from different clubs, and it was a very physical game. But I'll never forget what they told us after the game. After the game, they said this was we stop in different islands in different parts of the world, even in Asia. This was the most fun we had, not only during the game, but after the game. And I do think it's because, there is that sense of community. It's a very physical sport. It's a very demanding sport. But once that whistle is over, I feel like our culture immediately goes back to embracing. And then whether you're from Guam, not from Guam, you're visiting, you're part of our community, you do remember after that whistle that, we're all part of this rugby community.
And where can people catch the 3-part series?
So we've been airing it throughout last week, but now all 3 episodes are available to stream at no charge at guamtime.net or clutchguam.com. And I highly recommend you check them out. Again, I just want to give a big thanks to the boys at Clutch Guam, and then everyone who we've interviewed. Even if we didn't interview you, like I said, we interviewed 30 people. We could have easily interviewed 100. There's countless people that we should thank and need to thank that have helped grow this sport on island.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
And now it's time for your holiday weekend birthday shoutouts. Weekend birthday shoutouts go like this. Born the day after Christmas on December 26th, Rashawn Rosario, who celebrates birthday number 13. Happy birthday, bub. Your friends and family say they love you. Also, Tanya Cruz, happy birthday to you. We hope you have an amazing birthday. Love, your Barragata family. Hey, all right. Central Village love. Awesome. And Edgar Diaz celebrates a birthday on Saturday. May each and every moment of your special day be filled with the same joy and happiness you bring to others from the Gecko family of 1972. Go GW. And happy birthday to one of our own here, Ken St. Nicholas, who does so much for the community. Ken, happy birthday, partner. Born on December 26th. We hope you have a great day. And on Sunday, the 27th, Krista Wells has a birthday. So, Krista, we hope you and your family celebrate happily, safely, and be healthy because it is your fantastic birthday.